All right, let's dive right in. We're going to be talking about a piece of tech that tries to solve one of the biggest paradoxes in farming today. How do we feed more and more people without wrecking the planet in the process? It's called the GeneCapsule, and believe me, it is a whole new way of thinking about things.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the massive challenge farming is up against. Then, I'll introduce you to the GeneCapsule, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how it works. After that, we'll see just how much better it is than the old ways. And finally, we'll zoom out and ask, is this the future?
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the big problem. The huge, and I mean huge, environmental cost of simply feeding everyone on Earth.
This really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, think about it. They're saying we'll have nearly 10 billion people to feed by 2050. That is an absolutely staggering amount of food. And if we stick with our current methods, well, the planet is going to pay a heavy price for it.
And this is the fundamental trap we're in. For decades, it's all been about yield, getting more crop from every square foot of land. And to do that, we've just been dumping on tons and tons of fertilizers. But it's created this really nasty feedback loop, where the more food we grow, the more damage we do. It's a real catch-22.
And get this is what really blows my mind. The sheer wastefulness of it all. When farmers spray nitrogen fertilizer the old-fashioned way, almost half of it, doesn't even touch the crop. It just washes off into our rivers, causing these huge toxic algae blooms, or it literally evaporates into the air as nitrous oxide, which is a greenhouse gas that's, well, really, really bad. It's just an incredibly inefficient system.
Okay, so we've got a huge problem of waste and pollution. Now, let's talk about a potential solution. And this is where the GeneCapsule comes in. It's being called a genuine breakthrough for making farming sustainable.
So, what is this thing exactly? Well, you can think of it as a tiny, biodegradable pod. It's a time-release capsule that's designed to deliver a perfectly measured dose of nutrients and maybe even helpful genetic material straight to a plant's roots, right where it's actually needed.
I absolutely love this analogy. It just clicks, you know? It's the perfect way to picture it. We go from basically carpet bombing a whole field with chemicals and just hoping for the best, to giving each individual plant its own little smart pill, a precise prescription delivered at just the right time.
So, a smart pill for the soil. Sounds pretty cool, right? But how does it actually tick? Let's get into the mechanics of how this thing really works.
You know, the process is actually brilliantly simple. First, you take that custom mix of nutrients and you seal it up inside a polymer shell that's designed to break down naturally. Step 2, you just place these little capsules right there in the soil next to the seed when you're planting. And then, and this is the clever part, the capsule doesn't just pop open. It dissolves slowly, bit by bit, triggered by things like the moisture in the soil and even signals from the plant's own roots.
And that's the whole point, right? The entire process is engineered for one thing above all else: efficiency. By getting those nutrients right to the roots, exactly when the plant is ready for them, you get as close to perfect absorption as possible, and you basically eliminate all that wasteful runoff we were just talking about. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's put the old way and this new approach head-to-head and see the difference. And wow, when you lay it out like this, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? On one side, you have the old way, spraying everything, which leads to tons of runoff and really poor absorption. And on the other side, the GeneCapsule, targeted, precise delivery, which means almost no runoff and incredibly high efficiency. We're talking about a move from brute force to pure finesse.
This visual just says it all. That massive bar on the left, that's the environmental cost of traditional farming. And that tiny little sliver on the right, that's the GeneCapsule. The difference we're looking at here isn't just a small step. It's a complete game changer for agriculture's impact on our planet.
But look, if there is one number, one stat you take away from all this, please make it this one: 90%. That's how much more efficient the plants are at actually using the nutrients they're given. It means farmers can use way less fertilizer and get the exact same results, maybe even better. That changes everything for the farmer's bottom line and for the health of our environment.
Okay, so this brings us to the really big picture stuff. Let's look past today and ask, what could this technology really mean for the future of how we grow our food?
The possibilities here are just so exciting. I mean, imagine creating custom-made gene capsules for every single crop, for every single type of soil on the planet. We could slash agriculture's carbon footprint. We could even load these capsules with beneficial microbes to bring depleted, tired-out farmland back to life. And of course, we could pretty much stop fertilizer pollution in our waterways. Full stop. And really, It all comes down to this one big question. We've had so-called agricultural revolutions before, but they always came with a hidden cost to the environment. The gene capsule? Well, it offers the promise of a revolution that's not about using more, but about being a whole lot smarter. So, could this be it? Is this the key that finally unlocks a truly green revolution? Something to think about.